to sleep too. Drink more coffee. Well, welcome. Please raise your hand if it's your first time. I'm like, it's gotta be all your hands first, right? Welcome. Let me make sure I get this right. Worth County, is that right? Yeah. Worth County Future Business Leaders of America are here. Let's give them a round of applause. To kind of run down for all the new people of how this goes, we have one company come up, present for about 6 minutes, and then our expert panelists will ask them some questions, and then we'll open up to you for questions. When you have a question, line up over here by the mic, and we'll let you ask it, and then we move on to the second. Easy enough, right? Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, 1 Million Cups KC. You can give the presenters feedback on there, which they appreciate. And also we have an app that you can provide them direct feedback, just 1 Million Cups app. And my name's Caitlin, didn't even introduce myself. Another organizer, Abby, Billy, and Tyler. We're a small little group today. And our expert panelist is Adrienne Haynes. I'll have her introduce herself. Do you want to?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. My name is Adrienne Haynes, and I have the great privilege of being both an entrepreneur and an attorney here in Kansas City, managing partner of Seed Law, which is a business law firm. Shout out to Joseph over there. Also, a few nonprofit ventures, including the Multicultural Business Coalition. And I'm a longtime fan of 1 Million Cups, and glad to be here.
Thanks for being here. All right, without further ado, help me give a warm welcome to our first presenter, SERV Nutrition.
Alrighty, let's do this thing. So my name is Isaac Collins. I'm one of 3 owners of SERV Nutrition. You'll meet the other guys over here, Austin and Juan, here in a bit. A little bit about myself. I am a local, born, somewhat raised Kansas City kid. At a young age, I moved to St. Joe, Missouri with my parents. And I spent most of my life there, elementary school up to a little bit past college. And from a young age, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, wanted to be a business owner. After college, I was blessed with the opportunity to be able to actually step into that. I bought a Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Iowa, did that for about 3 years. I used the proceeds of that to come back to Kansas City, to be close to friends, be close to family, and I opened Yogurtini on the South Plaza. Anybody been there? A couple people? Cool. And then recently, my wife and I, who's also here, we've been blessed with the opportunity to buy a second Yogurtini store right outside of Liberty, Missouri. So I say that to say I'm comfortable with the franchise model. I'm comfortable with everything that offers. And so when I met Austin and Juan about 18 months ago, they kind of shook my foundation. We met and kind of talked about a couple different business ideas, and we started to create what is now SERV Nutrition. And so I'll get into that story a little bit later during the question and answer. And so we have SERV Nutrition. Maybe?
Is it on?
Technology.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so what is SERV Nutrition? SERV Nutrition is a health and wellness supplement company. We bring innovative products to the market to serve people on the go. And we serve and give back to other people around us, here in Kansas City and also around the world. And the reason why we did this, whenever the 3 of us met up, we really saw that there's 2 things that are big for us: health and then also giving back because of our faith. And so we wanted to build a company that had those 2 pillars, to build it as a foundation. So being 3 guys who were former collegiate athletes, we saw some issues in the health and wellness industry. And so some of those issues, the main one is eating healthy. As we know, there's really not a lot of healthy options. You go down the street and you see fast food restaurants. You go to a restaurant and it's mostly things that maybe aren't good for you. You go into the supermarket and it's packaged, processed foods. And so it's just not convenient nowadays to eat healthy. Also, on-the-go things, really the same thing. There's not a lot of options there. When we were doing our research for this business, we saw that the U.S. landfills, there's a big issue there. 76 million tons of waste is put into that every single year, and then the total amount is 230 million tons of waste. So, we are a supplement company. We've also seen, since we do have a single serve, the price for that is just astronomical with $4, $5, $6 per serving. And so it's just not very feasible for the normal person to be able to get that. $6, I know we eat a lot of Chipotle. We'd rather have a Chipotle burrito than just take a quick supplement. And so again, purposely done, the supplement industry has made it tough to be able to know what you're supposed to take. So there's a lot of misuse there. There's a lot of overuse there. So SERV Nutrition is offering something, one of the first protein drops is what we call it to market. And so this is our remedy to the issue of what's going on in the health industry. And so what this is, as you can see in this picture down here, it's not very clear, but it is a protein drop. So think Tide Pods, but instead of laundry detergent being in the middle, it's protein powder. So yes, you can actually eat these. And so it's a 20-gram protein drop in the middle. It's a chocolate milkshake flavored whey protein concentrate. A lot of words there, it's a protein powder in the center. Our outer film is made of mainly plant-derived ingredients. It is water soluble, it's edible, it's tasteless, it's odorless. It's not going to negatively affect you, it's actually going to do the opposite for your body. And so because of that solution, because of this product, we think that we're solving a lot of the issues that's going on in the health industry. We're making it more accessible for people. This is super convenient. You can grab and go to consume this product. Perfect serving every single time, and we'll get into this more once we do the question and answer of how the health industry and the supplement industry has really taken advantage of the normal consumer. But we've provided the perfect dose every single time, so this prevents overspending. And also, since we don't have a package, because you're consuming that, we are happy that we are not adding to the landfill issue that's going on. So we feel like we're minimizing our environmental footprint. So our target market really is on-the-go people, and as people who are health conscious, we feel as if those are the ones that really are going to consume protein on an everyday basis, and if they're not already, we feel as if we can explain it to them so they can. And so a quick little superset there of everyone we're going to sell to. Our competition is supplement companies, health and wellness brands, different companies who are either already selling protein or they're going to sell some sort of health and wellness product, which we ourselves want to get into the future. And we do feel like we have the leg up on them for some of these reasons. The very obvious one is our film technology that allows us to give our customers convenience to grab and go with this item. The second one is our protein. So we didn't want to be a one-leg stool. We have the film technology. This makes it very easy for people to grab and go with it, but that's not the only thing we want to be about. We also want to have the best product out there. So we have tested, we've retested our protein to make sure that it is the best. We want to make sure it's the cleanest, we want to make sure that it mixes, and we want to make sure that it is delicious. And then the last one, the one that I don't think we talk about as much, but it's definitely the heart of our company, for who we are as owners, is our Give Back initiative, and it's called Purchase for Purpose. And so what that is, it's a partnership we have with a nonprofit called Feed My Starving Children. And so what we're able to do, for every single product we sell, whether it's a protein drop, whether it's a shirt, whether it's a bottle, what we do is we send what's called a mana pack, and I can explain that in more detail later, overseas to a kid who, in other words, maybe isn't eating or doesn't have the proper nutrition. And so that's the core of our business. And so what we're looking for now, we're about probably 4 to 6 weeks away from launching. And so at this point, we've been working on this for 18 months, and we have pretty much outsourced almost every single aspect of the business. And what we've found is that's not the best way to do it. So we want to control all those things and have those in-house. So we want the warehouse, we want the machinery to produce on our own, and we want to be able not to have to rely on other people to produce our drops and get them to market fastest. So yeah, launching in 6 weeks. We love you guys' help, and we'd love to answer any questions.
Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for the presentation. It's good to see all of the team here. I wrote down several notes, but first, thanks for pointing out your Give Back initiative. I think it's really important that as entrepreneurs, we share as much as we learn and give back when we can. So, of course, my big question is, how did you create that protein drop?
Yeah, so I have got a tiny home gym in my basement, and one day I was doing some laundry, kind of simultaneously working out, and I threw in a Tide Pod, and then ran upstairs to make a protein shake and spilled my protein all over the place, and I was like, this would be super cool as a pod, and I called this dude up, and I was like, hey, I've got an idea, need your help.
I almost saw that light bulb go off right then.
Yeah.
So the lawyer in me also has to ask, how are you all protecting what you've created? Because of course it sounds proprietary. We know we can't eat the Tide Pods.
Yeah, exactly. We usually don't like to get into like too much legalities, but we are doing everything we can to protect ourselves.
What's that? It is a long process, but the lawyer in me has to ask because we have to point out that when we're creating things, we also have to protect them.
Absolutely.
You own a few other businesses that have to do with health. Are you seeking out formal partnerships with companies like Yogurtini or others here locally where you can sell them just directly to the consumer? Or how are you planning to sell them?
Yeah, so we believe in the success of any business. You have to partner with other people who are around, especially Kansas City. All these businesses are so connected. There's awesome events like 1 Million Cups, obviously. So our strategic thing that we're going to do to bring it to market is mainly selling online to start out. We want to prove the concept first, and then we eventually do want to partner with retailers, starting here in Kansas City, to be able to sell in their establishments. So yeah, mainly online, and then we'll partner with places like Yogurtini.
And how are you all splitting duties as owners? Who's responsible for what? Everybody's the gopher?
Yeah, we talked about that a lot, about how we can split duties and you do this, you do this. I would say we're still pretty new in the business, even though we've been working on it for 1.5 years. So we're kind of all doing everything. We try to be at every single meeting. We are on all the email chains for the most part. Yeah, we kind of just all do it all.
Sounds like a good team. I wanted to also just ask, you know, you all are creating something that is proprietary, it's something new. I've never heard of a protein ball. How are you developing a team of experts that can kind of help you? Have you all thought about creating an advisory committee? Or tell us about some of the professional service providers who've helped you, of course, like a lawyer or an accountant, banker, business coach. Kansas City has so many different resources for small businesses, so I'm curious about how you all have consumed those.
Yeah, so on the product side, we have a biomedical engineer that's been helping us with the different formulations, and then as far as like legal advice, we've worked with Polsinelli to help us with business structure and different things moving forward.
I could ask questions all morning. I'm going to pass to you.
If you have a question, just go ahead and line up over there.
I was wondering if you all were going to come out with any other flavors too.
Yeah, so we're working on a vanilla flavor right now, and then we're working on a vegan option, a vegan vanilla and chocolate, and we're working on potential greens. Hopefully a half serving to a full serving, and in the future we obviously plan on getting into many different products.
And that was my question as well, just how are you reaching people? How are you getting the word out? I saw the wonderful marketing campaign with some of our favorite local entrepreneurs. So besides selling online, how are you going to tell people about what you've created?
So that's one of the main things we're doing right now, is really just the partnership and collaboration, really getting those local entrepreneurs here in Kansas City that everyone knows and loves. They have a good market, they have a good industry, people who are already looking at them. So really that word of mouth, and also obviously selling online, big social media pushes, and we want to do a lot of events as well here in the city to let people know what we're doing. But that's the next thing that we're really focusing on, is how do we build it, how do we get the following of Kansas City, but how do we become regional and then national as well. So we have actually a couple different, let's say, not salary, but retainer people who are helping us with that to be able to be known across the U.S. So I think the push for the retail is going to be huge when we get there, but I think right now we're just going to start selling online and really double or triple down on those efforts and see where that can take us.
Yeah, and we've also seen the benefits of using other influencers in the city to expand our social network. And so we've built a team of 55 ambassadors so far that's going to help us represent the product. And so really using them to push content, which helps give you that kind of virality that a brand always looks for. So that's been super helpful for us.
And really, we've just been kind of really consistent on what we've been doing. We've spent many, many months trying to build the brand. We've changed the name a couple of times, actually, which was like another legal problem. But yeah, we've just been really consistent and not, steering away from what we know and why we started this. So everything we can, we just stay on track.
Want to start with the questions?
I said, great idea. Few questions because you didn't really cover the full range of your business. So let me start by asking you, did you bring samples?
Yeah, there's one right there on where I was sitting. You can grab that.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to see it and feel it and touch it and throw it in my washing machine.
You can try that. I don't know if it's going to give you the same effect.
But really, the other than that, the other questions that ran through my mind as you did your presentation, what does your launch look like in 6 weeks? In other words, you said you're going to do all your marketing and selling online. So what is that going to look like? How are people going to find out about it? What is the pricing of this per piece, as well as what the package is? And then finally, something else that I can think of, although I'm sure there are many other business related.
So sorry.
That was the voice of God. Is how do you see you moving beyond that initial launch? Because it seems a little hazy. If you're 6 weeks away from it, to me, from your presentation, not really clear how you're going to grow your company. So a little bit of what you plan to do, your next steps after you launch.
Okay, so 4-part question, am I right? So part 1, sample. That is one of 4 samples that we have. Manufacturing starts on the 29th. So we'll have more product coming in very shortly. What are the other ones? Okay, so launch. Yeah, we are working on a strategy for throwing a launch party, actually. So we've got a 6,000 square foot warehouse in the West Bottoms that we've been renovating. So we're super excited about that. But we'll have, we're really working on social media right now to drive hype towards the brand and build that lifestyle feel that we're trying to create. And then the launch party will kick everything off. The website will go live. And then we'll really lean on those ambassadors to help us push the brand further past launch.
Next question.
I can answer really quick on what we're going to sell. So we have 3 different variations. We have a single pack, which is what this looks like here. This is mainly going to be for sampling, but we can also sell it individually as well. And this will be, I think we decided on $2.50 for one. And then our next one's going to be a 7-pack, and that's going to be $13.99, so about $2 per serving. And then our biggest one is a 30-pack, which in the supplement world, that's about normal for protein to have around a 30-pack. And so that's going to be $44.99 for that. And so we have a lot of product coming in, 3,500 kgs, which ends up being like almost 6,000 pounds of product. And so we'll get that in here shortly. We just recently went and we actually got all of our protein in. We went and tested it and repackaged it. It tastes delicious. And so, yeah, we'll send it off, manufacture wrapping on the 29th. We'll get our product back beginning of November. And then once we have it in our warehouse, we can start selling. We'll do a soft launch just to make sure the website's working, everything's good to go. Like Austin said, we'll do that launch party. From there, beginning of December, we'll invite influencers, ambassadors, friends, family, as many people as we can get there. We also have some connections with media outlets, so hopefully to get on the news and the paper. And yeah, just let as many people know about it like that, but mainly those ambassadors are really going to help us because a lot of those faces on there are very recognizable and they do have a large community of people following them, so we think that'll help a lot. Hopefully that was answered all the questions.
Good morning, great presentation. You said you're going to focus on selling online, and so I was wondering if you were going to focus on selling on just your website, if you're going to use Shopify or Amazon.
Yeah, so the initial strategy is to start selling online. We don't want to necessarily hop into retail too quickly, just because, like, if, let's say Sam's Club wants to pick it up and they say we need 20,000 units, that takes a lot of capital injection, and then they have net like 120, so you don't get your cash back for 120 days, and you're sold out of inventory, and then you're in this vicious cycle of not having product. So we don't really want to play that game right out of the bat. And as far as Amazon, we're not going to go that route yet. We want to have more products in the line and make sure we know our target demographic before we start spending advertising money on Amazon.
We had an advisor who did a lot of work on Amazon and told us to just wait on it until we know our demographic. So we're listening to him, and until we know that, we're not going to get on there yet.
Good morning. So I apologize. I missed a little bit of the beginning of your presentation. So if I say something that you've already said, I apologize. But the two things I love about your idea, using protein powder, you get to the bottom, and there's just like a 3/4 like spoon. And you're like, so this takes care of that. Also, if I travel and I want to bring the protein powder with me, like I have this jug, and then like I put it in like a Ziploc baggie, and then I go through airport security with this white powder in a Ziploc baggie. That doesn't go anywhere. So I really appreciate this. I was looking at your idea, and so you have the powders in a film that you drop and it dissolves and you mix it that way. Have you looked at molecular gastronomy? Molecular gastronomy is a thing, I don't know, maybe about 8 to 10 years ago. People were taking food and dropping it in like a gel, and it would just spherify like apple juice. And then they put it in a cocktail and crack it open like an egg yolk and mix it in a cocktail. And so I thought this was an outreach of that, but what this would allow you to do is branch into all kinds of things. You could do any kind of food or flavor in your pouch. And so your idea, I'm not worried about, because I see that that's going to take off and be awesome. But 6 months from now, maybe there's something there for, hey, I'm going to put an egg in this, or, this is how I carry around a granola bar. Instead of a big, clunky wrapper, now I have this. Or something. Just throwing that out there.
A couple things. one, sir, we need to talk to you after this, because that's a great idea. Yeah, right. Secondly, we are starting with the supplement company, because that's just what we know the most, being 3 former athletes. But our vision is to get into a situation where we can pod up anything and everything. If it's an egg, it's an egg. We've thought of, soups and coffee and really anything that's a powder we want to put into our film. And so yeah, we should definitely chat.
Cool.
Hi. I had 2 quick questions. One, how quick and clean is the dissolve of the pod?
Instant. Yeah, right when you put it in there and you give it a couple shakes, it's instant. Every single time I use one, I do this weird little test where I'll put it in my shaker, I'll shake it twice, and then I'll reach my hands in to see if there's any film residue. There's never any. So yeah, instant. You do need to shake it though, just like you would normal protein powder. It busts open and it's gone.
And also, are you thinking about expanding into other, fitness health products like pre-workout or recovery formula or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the Second flavoring for protein is next of the vanilla, and then we're going to wait on vegan protein, but pretty much I feel like every person we talk to said, hey, this is awesome, when are you doing plant-based? So that'll be next. Pre-workout, BCA powders, and then we kind of want to get into the health and wellness, potentially MCT, collagen, turmeric, et cetera, et cetera. Good question.
Hi, great presentation. I love the concept of giving back, cause marketing. That's a great philosophy. My question is in regards to the bulk material handling equipment you're going to need. Are you going to have someone make the mix for you and then package it, or are you going to make the mix from raw material?
They would be derived from raw materials.
Okay, I've got a background in bulk material handling equipment, so I can help.
Yeah, let's definitely chat. Appreciate that.
How's it going, guys? You guys are doing great. A couple questions. First one for all the entrepreneurs in here, where are you guys looking for capital, what that looks like? And the second one, I noticed that pot's pretty big. What about for those individuals who actually use water bottles and what that looks like?
Yeah, so as we grow, we have the ability to change the size of the pod. So it's made inside of this big machine, and they have these different molds. So the powder's poured inside of the mold, and you can change the size of the pod depending on the size of the mold. That just takes more capital, but it's definitely something we plan on doing in the future. And then in terms of raising money, we raised $150,000 about 6 months ago. So, yeah.
And then, so our market that we had a pretty big fish in our network, and we actually were going to wait until we needed a lot more money to go to him. But we ended up getting some good advice from a friend, and they said, why wait? Don't rob him of that opportunity. So we met with him actually in St. Joe, and he gave us the money pretty much there on the spot. Yeah, but that 150 is going to allow us to do a lot of things. We're going to be able to, really we're considering this kind of like a test, even though we're open to everyone. That's why we don't want to focus on scaling right now, because we want to perfect the process. Since this is a brand new concept that hasn't been done before, we want to make sure that it's actually going to work. And then whenever it does work, we can actually go back to that first benefactor we had, and he's said that he would give us more money.
I need friends like that.
Hey guys, really cool product. I heard twice, I think I actually came in late, about giving back, and I haven't really gotten a good understanding of how you guys are giving back, so could you elaborate on that, please?
So on top of sending the mana packs overseas to starving children, we partner with Feed My Starving Children, and they actually partner with 3 companies, ACT, which is African Children Today, Hope Again Women, and obviously the mana packs. And so we give them the money and the proceeds, and we produce to all these different companies. And Hope Again Women create products in Uganda, and they create like necklaces and bracelets, and they actually sell the bracelets and receive the money for themselves. And so we get to provide for children, women, school, all of these in Rakai, Uganda, and that's huge for us because we have the opportunity to help inner city schools here in Kansas City, and that's one thing that we're working with right now, trying to figure out what that looks like for us. It obviously has to deal with food at this point, and so we figured out, internationally, we're trying to figure out locally at the same time. But because of Feed My Starving Children, we have the opportunity to do a lot of great things with them.
Okay, final question. What can we as a community do for you?
I can start on the first one. Like Isaac was saying before, we've been outsourcing everything, and which is a pain right now, and dealing with 5 different manufacturers all at the same time. if we can get all the machine work in-house at some point within the next 6 to 12 months, we'll be able to control our lead times, we'll be able to control any product that we can make, and so it just costs quite a bit of money. That's number one.
Yeah, that's really the big one there is, and Juan is being really nice on it. It's been really tough, and I think any entrepreneur in here who's started a business and also has had vendors where you have to get your product from, it's not fun. We're literally like, if they don't want to talk to us or they're busy or whatever, we can't do anything. And so we've gotten our product, we've gotten through the headache of that. It's taken a little bit longer, but that's our big thing. So definitely want to talk to that one guy who can help with manufacturing. Thank you so much ahead of time. Anyone else who has any experience with that, with supply chain, even helping us with like what software to use whenever we do that. We are in a warehouse now, we can use some of that there, but we will have to move to a new facility to be able to bring the 2 machines that we'll need in. So just really helping us like organize how that looks, because we've never done that.
Thank you. Let's give them a hand, please. Next, we're going to our announcements. Our friends from Startland News.
Hey everyone, I'm Startland News reporter Austin Barnes. Let's take a look at today's trending stories. Diagnosis collaboration. Kansas City-grown companies Sickweather and Mycroft are teaming up to better your health. Mycroft devices will use AI to detect coughing in popular public places. The data will then combine with Sickweather's illness tracking tech to create timely reports of trending sickness in your area. Devices will roll out in 2019. A proposed high-speed Hyperloop could bring tech jobs to the metro. Those familiar with the project Virgin Hyperloop 1 tell Startland the project could also save Missourians $90 million a year, a result of reduced wrecks along I-70. The Hyperloop would connect Kansas City and St. Louis, making it possible to live in one city and work in the other. City leaders say the project would greatly benefit both local economies. Earlier this week, Hyperloop One chairman Richard Branson announced he'll be stepping down from the company, raising still unanswered questions about the project's future. Store energy, power your home. The goal of Kansas City startup Wise Power. The company will soon move into a 9,000 square foot space inside the Hy-Vee Arena, expanding from an originally planned 3,000 square foot space. The Wise Power Lounge will feature indoor golf simulators, a bar, and serve as a showroom for the company's energy-saving technology. Those are the stories making headlines this week, but as always, you can get caught up on all things happening in the Kansas City startup ecosystem by visiting us at startlandnews.com.
All right, that was our weekly update from Startland News. So now we're going to move on to our mug club. So please raise your hand if you've been here at least 10 times, 10 or more. All right, now put your hand down if you've already received a mug. Anybody? All right, Billy's going to come on over. All right. Oh, I don't have a mic. If you want to shout just how long you've been coming here and why you come.
I've been coming here. I've been coming here for. Anyway, I've been coming here for a while, and I've been here several times, and I really like it, and I meet a lot of really cool people. And I'm about to launch a photography studio. And I'll be on stage next year because I'll be making 6 figures by March.
Awesome. All right, we have one more announcement from Adrian.
All right, let's see. I have to have my notes here. Okay, one announcement I wanted to make is that on Friday, I have the great opportunity to partner with the Mid-Continent Public Library once again to do a half-day workshop. So what we like to do at our firm is combine a little bit of legal education mixed with the practical experience of entrepreneurs. So we will be hosting a half-day HR workshop. It's free. We'll be doing a little bit about the foundations of employment law, but then we'll have an expert panel of folks who have done it really well themselves and have some lessons to share. And then we'll talk a little bit about succession planning, because we're all running our businesses now, and there will be a time we might want to retire. And we will also have an expert panel of actually 3 multimillionaires sharing how they have survived either a merger, an acquisition, or both. And then I also have to shout out the NBCKC website. Global Entrepreneurship Week is coming up soon, and so we will have a calendar of all of our member events on our website. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, so applications are still open if you guys are interested in being an organizer. Please, if you're interested, you can go visit our newsletter or go on our Twitter or Facebook, and there'll be more information on those. So next up, we have MommyMeals. Ben and Mitch have been working hard this past year to develop MommyMeals, and to what it is today. They've taken the traditional meal delivery idea and geared it toward new parents. They have allowed friends and family, whether near or far, the ability to send a simple, convenient, slow cooker meal directly to those new parents in need. Please help us welcome Ben and Mitch as they tell us more.
Thank you so much. My name is Mitch, and this is actually my wife, Emma, and my son, Dean. And Dean decided to make an entrance into this world about 15 months ago with a pretty big bang. My wife ended up developing preeclampsia, which brought her blood pressure to 200 over 100. And due to my son, Dean, wanting to wear his umbilical cord like a backpack, he ultimately came through via C-section. And combining the physical aspect of a C-section with just the newborn phase, the not sleeping, the mental aspect, and just trying to keep up with the house, really makes those first 3 months extremely challenging for those new parents. And we had a lot of friends and family that came over, brought us meals, helped out around the house, which was a huge impact on us. But there was one meal that really had a really big impact on my wife and I. And it was just really a simple slow cooker meal. Fresh ingredients, it was sitting in the freezer. And whenever we were ready to eat dinner, my wife would simply just put that into the crock pot. And I remember my wife vividly looking at me as she's kind of going through the physical rehab of a C-section and on pain meds, and she looked at me and just goes, I really felt like I helped out today. And that just really blew me back to think that just such a simple meal made her feel accomplished for that day in the midst of a lot of rehab. Ultimately, that was where MommyMeals was born. The fact that we could provide something so simple as a crock-pot meal and make sure that that is a simple and convenient process for those new parents out there, that's what MommyMeals is all about. And what's really unique about MommyMeals is that we've really opened it up to friends and families like yourselves to reach out to those new parents and simply go online and select a simple crock-pot meal just to send to them, to show the support that you have for them in those really challenging first few months. I'm going to introduce Ben here to tell us a little bit more about how we're going to do that.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So real quick, how it works, very simple, 3 simple steps. The first one is you go online, select your meal. We've got a website already set up. We've got right now 4 different meal options, and then with that, one meal is $30, which serves 2 to 3 people. The second one, which I think is the most important one, is how it gets to the meal recipient. So as a giver, you don't have to go there to the ones you love to give the meal, and as a receiver, you don't have to be there, 1, to clean your house while you have the new baby, and then 2, to clean yourselves up to receive the meal. It's just, they're delivered for you. And then the third aspect of that is the convenience. So literally no dicing, no slicing. The convenience of it is very good, where you can put it in the crock pot and you're ready to have the meal. And to Mitch's point, you have that feeling that you're contributing and you're having that family time. I probably pushed the button here. Cool, so our target customer, Right now, our main focus is Kansas City. We want to own this market. We see about, on average, I think the market size is about 16,000 births a year. 18,000. So for us, that's our focus. And from that, who we're going after. So friends and family, as Mitch said, of the newborn parents. Now, this could either be in the form of a baby shower gift or of a gift card, or you remember something and you send it their way. But right now, that's our main focus. And from these two different age brackets, really the friends and newborn would be obviously around the new parent's age, and then the family and the such, also grandparents. So really from the age demographics, pretty widespread, but two different groups there. And this is kind of how we define our competition playing field. So this is from a meal kit competition perspective. So kind of two main axes. The first one is the affordability, so the y-axis. So more affordable up top, and then more expensive on the bottom. And then the second way we're defining that is the x-axis, which would be how you consume the meal. So whether it's consuming for yourself, which is what the traditional type, the ones that got out there first, are more associated with. So your Blue Aprons, your HelloFresh. And then the other aspect of meal kits, which is giving to others, which is where we're trying to play. You'll probably notice too the red box here. What we want to try and point out there is the prep time associated to those meal kits. So the ones in the red box are much more on that lower left quadrant. And that's really what you're driving for from an experience side. So that's chopping, the cooking, the pre-cook, everything that goes into those meals is really what they're focusing on is the experience. So really the way we see it is we're playing in a different type of category and a different type of segmentation when it comes to meal kits. The main thing to take away here from what we're offering compared to the others is, one, the affordability. So not only the price per meal, but also to get involved, so $30 for just one meal, whereas the others, with the shipping, with the meals subscription services themselves, can drive up the cost for just a one-time purchase. And then the ease of it, so just the convenience to send that outside of the experience would drive that.
Ben just kind of talked about our competition in the market where we see that we're in a different sector, but I want to talk a little bit about our competitive advantages. So our laser focus right now is strictly on the Kansas City market and those that have those newborns. We want to reach out to those friends and family to help support, but we also have unlimited capacity. So with the way that we've structured MommyMeals, through the relationships with local grocery stores and local delivery services, we have no limitation on how many meals we can actually get out to those friends and families that have those newborns. So that's really exciting for us. But the main point, what we're seeing here, the biggest, is the give back. MommyMeals at its heart is a give back company. You are sending simple and convenient meals to those friends and families with the newborn. We feel that we need to do the same thing. So we've actually partnered with the Blue Dot Project, which is a nonprofit organization that is providing awareness for postpartum depression, which affects 1 in 7 women across the nation. 1 in 7 women are affected by postpartum depression. And 5% of every MommyMeals that is sent out is going to be sent directly to the Blue Dot Project to help raise that awareness, help provide aid, and help provide research. That brings us into our next steps. Where is MommyMeals going? We launched 2 months ago. We've already served several families in the Kansas City area, so we know that this works. Now it's time for us to develop MommyMeals and expand it. So when we're developing, we're working on integrating each of our platforms right now. It's not really automated at this point, so there's a lot of hands-on work that goes through the order delivery aspect to get from our website to a meal to the door of that friend or family. And then the expand. We know there's a lot of networks out there right now that exist, especially through the churches. We want to help build a platform for those churches to help with meal coordination. And we don't want to take away the personal aspect of physically delivering a home-cooked meal to your friend and family, but we want to be able to provide that platform and then the option to be able to send a meal. Because if we can send a meal either 5 miles down the road or 500 miles away, that's where we feel like we can really make an impact in this market. So I really appreciate all of you guys coming out today. I hope you've learned a little bit more about MommyMeals, to where you have the ability to send your support to those new friends and families that are going through that tough time at the beginning of their new baby. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your presentation. That was great, and I love the reoccurring theme we have here of focusing on health and wellness, important ways to do it for yourself and for others, and the importance of giving back. So can you talk to us a little bit more about the Blue Dot Project?
Absolutely. So the Blue Dot Project is focused on postpartum depression, but they're actually a part of a larger company that's called 2020 Mom. And 2020 Mom is actually going after and making changes in the legislative right now to make changes for maternal mental health. So they're passing bills that actually requires all facilities and hospitals in the California area right now to require screening and educating those that are in the market and as nurses and doctors to know how to be aware of maternal mental health. So, yeah.
That's great. And of course, we're talking about mothers, but you all are probably both fathers. I don't want to make an assumption. You are a father. So talk to us about how in the development of your business, you're thinking about how to provide resources for dads too.
That's an excellent question. I thought you might go, why are there no moms up here? But my wife and son are actually there in the back right now, providing some support. And my wife has had a huge aspect in MommyMeals and kind of placing where it's at. But to answer your question in regards to how it helps men, as a male, when you go and have what they call diaper parties anymore, for the guys to have fun and hang out with somebody that's expecting, it can be kind of difficult to have an idea of what you want to give your buddy or your bro, and we really see that this could be an aspect of being a simple way to have an idea to provide for a friend. And Ben, I'll kind of let you talk about how it's been able to help you as you are a non-married man.
Yeah, so for me, I have friends that are having babies, and I also don't live in Kansas City. I'm from Kansas City originally, but live outside of town, so a way to be to the point engaged in their lives and kind of have that simple thought, it's an easy way to do that. Literally 5 minutes on the computer, on the phone, and there you have it. So.
Yeah, I think about my friends who have had children and the process of their baby registry. I'm sure all the things that we buy them are important, but the beauty of having a meal that's right there and easy, I think would be good on a lot of registries. So one of the questions I had during the presentation was, I know that you have a family, but how are you reaching new families? What kind of partnerships do you have with organizations that are serving new families?
Right now, we've got some partnerships here in the local area. That is one of the things that we are looking for help is for those partnerships in the local community. Right now, we've partnered with a company that's out in Lee Summit. It's called Burn Boot Camp. I've got some friends that run that, and it's a boot camp, and it's primarily mothers that will come in, and they've got daycare. So we've kind of partnered with them to be able to help out and spread the word. But yeah, right now, that is a huge aspect of what we're looking at, and we really want to go after the local churches that are in this area to where we can help with that. And I go to Brookside, Christ Community here in Brookside, and that is a huge aspect that we've reached out to them as well.
If I could add, so from the marketing side, one of the reasons why we're strictly focused on Kansas City is just the ability to laser focus any Instagram and Facebook ads to a 25-mile radius to a different age demographic, which in turn is much cheaper for us, but also more impactful, and we can see the direct results from that. So there's a partnership side, but there's also just being very disciplined and laser focused in where we're trying to play. So.
Sure. I'll add a little bit more to that as I thought about another one. So we're working with, my mother-in-law is actually director over at Overland Park Regional Medical Center. So we're trying to work alongside with that. You start getting into some issues with the HIPAA violations of not students, but people that are coming through. But we want to really go after some of those baby basic courses to know that this is a resource not only for the new parents, but for grandparents that maybe are going through the baby CPR classes that, I don't know if you've done it or not, but I've gone through those, and it's filled with a lot of grandparents.
Yeah, the more people that have that information, the better. So I have a question about the operations too. You mentioned delivery a little bit. Will you talk to me about the delivery process, like how that actually works in your business model? Are you all delivering? Are you using external partners? How does it work today, and how do you want it to work?
I can talk a little bit about how it worked when we first started and how we've changed it completely. Originally, we thought we would be making these meals and putting them in the back of the car and delivering them. We've looked at using UPS to utilize those services, and we realized that once we started doing that, we couldn't be at a price advantage. We were no longer in an affordable range. So we quickly realized that we could not recreate the wheel, but utilize services that are already out there. Obviously, grocery stores already have ingredients, so we're using specific meals that we've catered to know that we can provide simple ingredients. And then you guys have all heard of the grocery delivery services. We're able to utilize that as well, to where they will actually deliver those simple ingredients right to their door, and that's how we take care of to the door from the website.
Okay, great. And did you say you have a subscription service, or will you be creating one? What does that look like?
Right now it's just one-off meals, but that is the part of our meal coordination expansion model is really to get subscription into that. So the idea would be as a new parent, you can basically kind of like a gift registry, but call it a meal registry, which already exists in some networks, but really how to formalize that and make it better to where you can register for meals, people can go in there and sign up, and then it's not necessarily a subscription model, but it's more of a registry system. Then you have the option to go however you want to deliver that meal, whether it's through MommyMeals or on your own, but there's that kind of second tier to add.
And then I know one of your competitive advantages was that you're really laser focused right now on supporting new families, which I know is important, but I have a real soft spot for senior citizens, especially those who are homebound. And so when I heard about this, I was just thinking how people might really love to be able to send meals to their grandparents. I know that's something I wish I could do. My grandmother lives in Peoria. And when I think about partnering with churches, I think a lot of churches probably deliver meals to their seniors as well. So but I know that the possibilities could probably be endless once you start thinking about everyone who wants a meal delivered, myself included. How have you thought about serving other markets as well?
Yeah, so really the laser focus came from we want to test the idea and we want to work out the kinks just through the MVP model to really just, before something went really well, we could actually deal with it. So that's where that came from, strictly new parents, strictly Kansas City area. But of course, I mean, from a marketing side, you kind of think of our role, sole goal of what we're trying to do. Really the role is giving this, kind of call it like, you know, you go to your grandma's house, you kind of got that warm, fuzzy feeling when you leave. That's kind of the end goal that MommyMeals can provide, whether that's a meal to a new parent, whether that's a meal to grandparents. And also from that, I mean, it could be other types of services outside of meals. So really, from the aspect of giving, to your point, it's infinite, but to really hone in on our processes and what we want to see and what our test pilot is, it's new meals, new parents.
Okay, for the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and move to the audience. If you have questions, please come up. We've got a few minutes left.
Hey guys, so this has unfortunately been covered a little bit already. Adrienne is asking really good questions here. But how do you maintain the quality of the meals that you're delivering if you've got different providers? And a secondary question that goes with that is, what if your recipients need low salt, low carbs, vegetarian, vegan, that kind of thing? And the other question, because I noticed the presence of the church factor in one of your slides, is I think it's inevitable that people are going to start wanting to send meals to other people who are somehow compromised in their ability to create meals themselves, like me. You know, I'm single, so I'm compromised. So, and I'm a guy. So I think it's inevitable that that's going to happen, and I'm just curious how you're going to try and avoid that from happening. So it's kind of two questions in two different areas.
Yeah, I'll answer the first one, quality of food. Those are all sourced from local grocery stores. So kind of what Mitch was saying when we first started, the thought was to do in-house. From that comes a plethora of, obviously, regulations, standards. Why not source that from the folks that do that day in and day out from their professional life? So that's from the grocery store aspect. And the food is delivered fresh. So when we coordinate that delivery, it's within the hour. The meal recipient has to be there to receive the food. And so therefore, it's literally right from the grocery store. The second aspect, if you want to answer.
Yeah, I'm going to ask if you can clarify that question because I don't know if I understand.
Low carb, low salt.
Oh, you're talking about the variation of the meals. I should ask my wife because she's told me that 1,000 times already. When are you going to do the no carbs, low sodium aspect? And right now, as Ben kind of mentioned, we're 2 months into launch, and we just want to prove that this is something that works and is valuable to those companies or to those new families. But absolutely, we need to be able to cater to those. So, some thoughts on the top of my mind right now is just the meals that we do have. Maybe clarify if that is a low sodium aspect. All the grocery stores, we can easily adapt the meals to maybe provide the exact same meal as a standard option and a low sodium option or a no carb option. That's very easily done because the ingredients that we are using is all at the grocery store. Yeah.
All right, first I want to commend you on your dedication. I'm a father of 8 children, been there, done that. So I have to address another question. You're focusing on meals. And as a solution provider and a educator in wellness, what are you doing in the area of vitamin supplementation? Because your root problem has a lot to do with vitamin B, selenium, mineral deficiency, because the mother has just dumped her entire nutritional gamma right into the baby. So what are you doing in the area of supplementation above and beyond the meals?
That is a great question. I don't think that we've necessarily focused specifically on that, and I would love to learn more about that if you have a focus on that. I will say that we do have a lot of nurses in my family directly, so I'm thinking maybe that is something that we do need to bring to their attention and get some feedback on what that may be, because this does need to be something that's valuable not only for the convenience factor, but valuable for the nutrition aspect as well. Thank you for that question.
And I guess I would say too, another purpose that we want to serve is the education piece, so on postpartum depression and also what impacts that. So you'll see like a lot of our content and blogs would go around educating people on what comes about with that. So I think nutrition is one that is a great idea to add for our content piece.
Good morning. I really appreciate your presentation. I have to admit that I came in thinking, why are there 2 men up there? But as a woman who's raised 3 children on her own, and they're all teenagers and every stage is fabulous, by the way, I really commend you guys for taking this up, and a big piece of that postpartum depression can be exacerbated by the lack of support. So just that fact and really bringing that message forward is very valuable. So I want to commend you on that. My question is, have you considered I like your laser focus, but have you considered giving the gift giver the option of adding additional value, so maybe some add-on components from other service provision? Is that something you guys have considered, or would you like to?
We absolutely want to consider that. Right now, the way that our platform is, and we talked about wanting to develop our website a little more, but right now we're limited to not having those add-ons, but some of the add-ons that we've kind of looked at, we would really like an introduction if anybody knows the gal. There's a company called Note to Self here in town, and they have a sock that provides words of encouragement and everything. And we just would love to be able to have that as a quick add-on to, hey, here's a mommy meal, here's a strength, superwoman, super dad, whatever it may be, to pass along with that. So we would love to hear any and every idea that might be a valuable add-on to that, even as simple as we've talked about adding a liner for the crock pot, where it makes it even easier to clean up afterwards. But just other ideas, please come up to us and give us some feedback on what you think might be a good option, because we definitely want to be able to provide that.
Very good. Final question. What can we as a community do for you?
Yeah, right now we've talked a lot about website development, and we really want to be able to help integrate that. So we're asking for support. Anybody that's got a background on website development or coding, we really want to be able to get our websites and platforms integrated to each other so that we can even streamline this even more. And then the community outreach, just through churches, through nonprofit organizations that could really benefit from this. We really want to be able to reach out to those organizations. We know that they're out there. We don't have the quick network to hit all of those, but your feedback and your help on that would be greatly appreciated.
All right, folks, thank you for coming out. Ms. Adrian Haynes, we thank you so much. We have the free co-working over at the Plex Pod edX, so let's remember to take advantage of that, and please come out next week, and we'll hear from FinTech, the FinTech Accelerator at NBKC Bank. Thank you.